What is Delta-8? Is it the next big thing in cannabis? Is it legal? Is it safe? These are a few of the questions plaguing the Delta-8 market in Texas. Shada Tarabi, co-owner of Restart CBD and president of the Hemp Coalition in Texas, says Delta-8 is a synthetic cannabinoid derived from cannabis.
Delta-8 is a cannabinoid that naturally exists in the cannabis plant. However, in the way that you're probably used to seeing it in the marketplace, it is actually referred to as a synthesized cannabinoid. And people probably don't realize this, but cannabis actually has over 100 different cannabinoids. Unfortunately, some of these cannabinoids exist in smaller trace amounts, Delta-8 being one of those cannabinoids. These are chemical compounds. It's a structure of bonds and chains, and Delta-8 to Delta-9 is just one chain removed. So chemically, they're very structurally similar. However, that variation of just that one bond being removed is what produces a similar but maybe alternative effect.
Tarabi says the passing of the Farm Bill in 2018 and House Bill 1325 in Texas the following year were instrumental in the development of the Delta-8 market in Texas.
Delta-8 being a cannabinoid that is under the THC category, so it is a psychoactive cannabinoid. But the reason that Delta-8 exists really predominantly, in my opinion, so much in a marketplace here like Texas is because of the way that the Farm Bill and then the Texas Hemp Bill were really written and outlined. And that states that we are allowed to sell, possess, consume, create products with less than 0.3% Delta-9 THC. Because that language is really restrictive on Delta-9 THC, which is the primary psychoactive cannabinoid found in marijuana, when hemp became legal, the market was very curious to understand what other cannabinoids exist in that cannabis plant.
According to the New York Times, Google searches for the term Delta-8 grew by more than 850% between 2020 and 2021.
People really do enjoy the benefits and the psychoactivity and the effects that Delta-8 THC can provide. And it's a legal cannabinoid for people to be able to take advantage of those effects that maybe Delta-9 THC might provide to them in a legal, accessible way.
Retired U.S. Army veteran Martin Cobb, who is also a veteran of Foreign Wars Legislative Committee volunteer, says he uses Delta-8 as an alternative to traditional medicine to treat his depression, pain, and PTSD.
I've deployed 7 times during my career in the military, and I have PTSD. So the VA will give you drugs that are, psychotropic or whatever reason they give it to you. And I've never been a recreational drug user or someone that smoked marijuana, but the edibles seemed like it could be something that could get me off of all these pills. And it just, I wanted to feel normal again. I wanted to be able to have my emotions and then just be able to deal with those emotions.
Legislative efforts to ban Delta-8 THC due to a lack of regulation and health concerns have become increasingly prevalent in Texas.
Right now we are in session and there are a couple of bills that do have particular language against Delta-8. You're seeing Delta-8 become the example of how this gets dealt with in a legal / political manner. And that's where you're seeing the constant kind of back and forth between, is this legal? Is this illegal? Is this safe? Is this not safe? And I think the reality is it's not all made equal. There are bad producers of Delta-8 out there. There are bad products that have poorly made Delta-8 out there.
Supporters of the Delta-8 market, like Trabi and the VFW, one of the market's biggest proponents, are advocating to keep Delta-8 legal in Texas.
As an advocate, there's a couple things we do. Just kind of at a high level, it's keeping track and paying attention to different pieces of legislation, different lawsuits that are going on in our state, different things that are impacting our industry, which ultimately impact our consumers.
I'm in the legislative committee for Texas VFW, so I am pretty involved. At this point, I just don't understand why it would be taken away from veterans unless there's a clear and present danger because of the product. If you need to regulate it, control it, that's fine. But we need that product for our veterans.
For Multimedia Journalism, this is Valley Figueroa.